From atop the hill, Keldon watched Drexel's lifeless body hurtling down, joining the heap of remains below. Remarkably only lightly injured, Keldon stood, sheltered by the shield of his unyielding faith. Despite his anger at Drexel's death, he knew that he could still be resurrected. Before the dust could settle, he regained his composure and flew towards the casters. As the squadron of a dozen Espen mages prepared to stop him, Keldon leaped into action, hurtling towards them with an unwavering determination. His heart pounding and adrenaline pumping, he swiftly entered the fray, engaging in an aerial clash. The mages, their robes billowing and staffs aglow with arcane energy, formed an intricate web of spells and incantations. Shimmering barriers and bolts of lightning crackled around them, forming a potent barrage intended to overpower any foe. Yet Keldon, fortified by his faith, pressed forward, weaving through their spells and barriers with ease. With each swing of his obsidian blade, Keldon cleaved through magical defenses and sundered their protective wards. His strikes were precise and deliberate, his movements a dance of martial prowess and divine intervention, and his blade a beacon of righteous fury. Despite their powerful magic, the mages found themselves unprepared for Keldon's relentless assault. He dodged, parried, and struck with an almost preternatural grace, exploiting gaps in their spells and their momentary lapses in concentration. Where their magic was strong, Keldon's resolve was unbreakable and only strengthened with each fallen mage. Soon, the last remaining sorcerer found themselves face to face with Keldon, who swiftly beheaded him. The air crackled with the dissipating remnants of magic as Keldon hovered amidst the aftermath, his breath heavy and body worn. There was not a moment to rest, however, as he immediately turned his attention to Drexel's body. Safe behind friendly lines, Keldon knelt beside his corpse and began preparing the ritual. Everyone's time will come eventually, but it was not yet Drexel's. He was far too instrumental to Varasi's cause. As Keldon worked, an insidious sense of dread crept over him, however. He struggled to recall his steps, having not practiced resurrection magic since mastering it centuries ago. Each stumble and lapse in memory deepened the chasm of uncertainty within him. Keldon was a man of many traits, but such uncertainty was foreign to him. This seemingly simple spell had gripped him with a fear he hadn't felt since the year past. Pulling out a diamond from his pouch, he finished the ritual. Completing the spell, and yet nothing. Drexel laid still. Suddenly his anxieties found reason. Varasi would not permit Drexel's return. "Why?" he screamed to the heavens, his throat beginning to seize. "He can still be of service. He still has a purpose." A resolute response echoed in his mind. "No." Stunned by Varasi's unwavering decree, Keldon felt tears welling. "Please," he pleaded. "There's still so much left for him." "No. The mage will not escape my grasp again. His time has ended." Keldon collapsed in despair beside Drexel's body. As he lay defeated, memories flooded his mind. He couldn't help but to recall the influence Drexel had on his life. Before Drexel, he was a mere tool of destruction, a cold and efficient killer devoid of emotion. His path had been shrouded in darkness until Drexel emerged, radiating warmth and companionship. It was Drexel who showed Keldon the beauty of life, teaching him to appreciate the moments beyond the bloodshed. And it was Drexel who had first encouraged and nurtured his relationship with Ilanth, rekindling the flame of humanity within his stoic heart. Amidst his agony and the weight of impending loss, Keldon began to realize the true depth of their bond. Drexel had not just been a comrade, but a beacon of light in Keldon's world of shadows. With his absence looming, Keldon felt as if the very essence of his newfound humanity was slipping away, leaving a void that even his lost wife's return wouldn't be able to fill. Tears streaked down Keldon's face as he grappled with the futility of his efforts. The connection they shared, built on love, trust, and a friendship that defied the darkness, was fading away. This loss would render his world incomplete once more, leaving him adrift in the desolation that Drexel's departure would inevitably bring. "Damn you, Varasi," he muttered. "What?" "Damn you, Varasi!" he screamed, wiping away tears as he rifled through Drexel's belongings. There had to be something. Drexel was always prepared, always ready. Death would not claim him so easily. "What are you doing?" she asked as he stumbled upon Drexel's amulet. Keldon gazing into the shimmering gems, his purpose became clear instantly. Retrieving his dagger from his side, he delicately placed it within Drexel's palm. With resolve, Keldon enfolded Drexel's hand within his own, guiding the dagger as he plunged it into his own heart. Drexel's eyelids fluttered open, the icy grip of death receding as Keldon's warmth enveloped him. Turning to his lifelong companion, he saw Keldon slump beside him, weakening as his life force ebbed away. With Keldon's every strained breath, Drexel felt the pulse of a rebirth within himself. Meeting Keldon's gaze, the two exchanged no words, their bond transcending mere speech. In that profound moment, a silent understanding bound them together, a connection that surpassed the need for verbal expression. Each understood the other's thoughts and emotions, merging their spirits into one collective consciousness. "I've always loved you, Drexel confessed, a well of emotions brimming in his voice. I know," Keldon murmured, a soft smile gracing his lips. As the last remnants of Keldon's radiance fused with Drexel, he whispered in a final breath, "I'm sorry, and thank you for everything." "Just say it back next time, you bastard," Drexel softly joked. Keldon laid motionless, life having departed, yet Drexel held on. Suppressing his tears, he dug the dagger even deeper into Keldon's body. Closing his eyes, Drexel centered his focus on his amulet. Delving deeper within, there he found what he sought, a Shard of Divinity. An essence not of Keldon, but of Verasi herself. The essence was embedded within Keldon's soul when he became her first paladin, swearing himself to her. Nervously, Drexel extracted the shard from Keldon's soul. He hesitated, feeling the raw power contained within it, and then, without a moment's pause, he drew the shard towards himself. As the shard met with Drexel's essence, an intense surge of energy coursed through him, the divine shard fusing with his being. In that instant, Drexel felt a kaleidoscope of emotions and visions overwhelm his senses. Flashes of Verasi's intent, her desires, and the weight of her dominion flooded his mind. The power within him expanded, causing his veins to thrum with an otherworldly might. Gasping for breath, Drexel's eyes flung open, now ablaze with an ethereal glow. The amalgamation of Keldon's sacrifice and the shard of Verasi's divinity transformed Drexel into something more than mortal. Drexel laughed, overcome with immense exuberance. "You are mine, Verasi!" he screamed with glee.
"What have you done?"
"How does it feel being tethered to a mortal now?" Verasi's highness laughter reverberated throughout Drexel's mind.
Tethered. Tethered. You cannot shackle a god, you conceited ape. This is but temporary. The bond shall be broken before your next breath.
"Really? Malky seems to think otherwise," Drexel retorted, snapping his fingers as the parchment materializes through flames.
What is that?
Drexel beamed a roguish grin. "A contract, one signed in blood by your very own avatar." Keldon awoke to nothingness and quickly realized he was on Verasi's plane. While the other gods' planes were populated with devils, fae, and celestial beings, Verasi's was desolate, devoid of life and color. He'd once admired that about her, attributing it to her pure devotion, but he now saw how alone and miserable she truly was. It also did not surprise him she hadn't let Falumbra take custody of his soul like every other.
You have broken your oaths, Paladin,
her voice bellowed,
and have damned us all in doing so.
Keldon scoffed. "I believe the only thing I've damned is your self-righteous ass."
Your small, insolent mind has not an idea of the calamity unleashed.
Believe me, Verasi, I fully know of the horror that is Drexel. I do not blame you for being
Enough!
Verasi's voice thundered through the void.
You, Keldon, stand at the precipice of eternal servitude for your betrayal. Your defiance has incurred a depth you cannot fathom.
Keldon, unwavering, stared into the abyss. "I'd rather serve eternity in defiance than kneel before your tyranny."
Such pride would be your undoing. You, the once mighty paladin, sought to defy destiny, and now you shall exist in perpetual servitude. You are mine, Keldon. Your every breath, your every heartbeat shall echo my dominion.
Do your worst, bitch. As Keldon's words echoed through the plain, the desolation around him seemed to intensify. The air thickened with oppressive weight, and Keldon felt a force binding him. Agony engulfed Keldon as Feroci's malevolent power surged through him. Each twist of the ethereal shackles felt like molten chain searing into his very essence. Flames of divine retribution licked at his being, consuming him with relentless torment. Feroci's smite, a cascade of searing wrath, left his body ablaze. The flames transcended mere physical pain. His screams rippled throughout the empty plain, unheard and unanswered. And so, as long as a stare remains, you... Drexel paused as he watched as Keldon's body erupted into flames. Already? Really? I had a whole speech prepared. Ethereal chains sprouted from the ground, twisting and contorting inside the inferno. Soon the monster wearing his dear friend's corpse began to rise, awkwardly at first as it struggled against the constricting binds. Digging Keldon's blade into the ground to brace, it quickly found its otherworldly strength and stood tall. Eventually the chain stopped writhing, having found purchase on Keldon's body and soul, and the flames that once consumed him now danced with a spectral glow. You're done talking, I take it? Fine. Have it your way, you damn hypocrite. Through the Death Knight's fiery eyes, Drexel saw a glimpse of his friend's soul, pleading him to get on with it already. Ugh, a buzzkill even in death. With a dismissive eye roll, Drexel ascended into the air, high above the ongoing carnage. The battlefield lay sprawled beneath him, completely unaware of everything that had transpired, and of what is to come. Drexel extended his hands, fingers spread wide as he tapped into his newfound power courtesy of the Bitch of Death. Whispers of arcane incantations emanated from Drexel as he invoked the spell, the very air crackling with latent energy. Shadowy tendrils extended from his outstretched hands, weaving a complex dance in the air. The souls of the recently deceased responded to Drexel's call, drawn by the promise of a false savior. They flowed into his amulet, being reduced to mere arcane fuel. His body trembled with the influx of dark energy as he channeled magic even he hadn't thought possible. It was still not enough, however. To challenge a god, he needed even more. Drexel wished to say he didn't savor the power. He wished that he was sorry for what he was about to do, but the simple truth is that he reveled in the chaos of it all. As Drexel fought to hold back his excitement, the Death Knight sprouted ethereal wings and soared towards Drexel with an unsettling grace. Flames flickered in its fiery eyes, reflecting the turmoil of Keldon's soul within. Huh, that's new? With a nonchalant sweep of his hand, Drexel conjured a swirling vortex of shadows around him, creating a protective barrier. The Death Knight, undeterred, swung its obsidian blade aglow with spectral flames. The clash reverberated through the atmosphere, each strike echoing the struggle between the former allies. The Death Knight raised his sword overhead once more and shattered Drexel's barrier with its next strike as shadowy tendrils shot from his hand, seeking to bind the knight. Unfortunately, the Death Knight moved with an unnatural agility, dodging and parrying Drexel's attempt to ensnare it. As the ethereal wings of the Death Knight beat with a haunting rhythm, Drexel realized the need for a more potent spell. The amulet around his neck pulsed with the absorbed souls, yearning for release. Sorry, old man. This one's gonna hurt a bit, Drexel said through gritted teeth. Reluctantly, he drew upon the amulet's power, hoping for enough reserves for after. Unleashing an unholy surge, Drexel sent a torrent of pure magic spewing towards the Death Knight. The blast collided with the Death Knight in a cataclysmic explosion. Spectral flames danced wildly as the shockwave rippled through the ethereal wings, and the Death Knight began to fall from the sky. Overwhelmed, it tumbled through the air, its obsidian blade flickering amongst the chaotic force. Drexel, watching from above, observed the battered form of the knight plummeting with an eerie silence. The battlefield below, oblivious to the duel, continued its symphony of chaos. Drexel, catching his breath, surveyed the situation. The Death Knight, momentarily incapacitated, became another fallen soldier against the ongoing conflict's backdrop. Yet, Drexel knew the battle was far from over, and conjured the amulet's power once more. Harnessing the remaining souls, he infused the Shard of Divinity with latent energy, etching intricate ritual circles in the clouds. The shard within the amulet teetered on the brink of burst at any moment. It was not designed to bear such magical weight. Yet, just as it reached its threshold, Drexel unshackled a fraction of its power through his spell. An avalanche of negative energy surged outwards, shrouding the entire battlefield and extinguishing the lives of nearly everyone it touched. Amidst the death, Drexel seized the opportunity. Drawing in the newly released souls, he wove a twist into his spell, directing its focus towards a god. The captured spirits whirled with a ghastly force, converging towards the heart of the magical maelstrom. Drexel, with precision, condensed the ball of souls and in an unexpected turn channeled it directly into Kildan's lifeless body without a moment's notice. Ferocity had never been challenged, not directly at least, and Drexel's open defiance seemed to amuse her. Little did she know that his actions were calculated as he sought the element of surprise to succeed. As the infernal ball of souls collided with Kildan's lifeless form, it shattered the ethereal chains that bound him. However, Drexel's true aim was not the physical restraints, but the deeper essence, Kildan's very soul. Realizing his intent, Ferocity swiftly enacted barriers, but they crumbled under the overwhelming power of the unleashed souls. With unerring accuracy, the spirits homed in on their target, obliterating Kildan's soul. The cycle of death and rebirth severing, Kildan slipped from Feracity's clutches forever. Drexel descended slowly upon the hills now littered with corpses and landed beside his friend's body. "Rise," he commanded, extending a hand to touch the plate armor. The body stirred, yet this time there was no dramatic display of chains and flames. Its movement retained a certain awkwardness, though. As it stood motionless, awaiting Drexel's next command, he gazed into its eyes, finding nothing but a void. A soft smile graced his lips. "Let's go, old friend. We have some work to do."